This is E-Commerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. This is episode number 169. My name is Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso. And we are on day 4,528 of the quarantine.
I don't even know, man. And you know what the weirdest thing about, one of the weirdest things is my wife always does the grocery shopping. Like since we've been together, you even know she shops for everything for me. And I have been allocated the grocery shopper since this whole thing has.
Yeah, well, she's not stupid. If anybody's going to get sick, she wants it to be you.
Yeah. So I went early today, 8 o'clock in the morning. I spent 2.5 hours at the grocery store.
I went to Walmart at 7 and there was nobody there.
It's insane. And I think everybody's getting a little stir crazy here. I know I am for sure, but I think things are opening up a little bit. I mean, even for this upcoming Memorial Day weekend, my brother-in-law is going to come over. He's going to spend the weekend with his girlfriend, and we're just going to hang out. I think it'll be nice to be in touch with some different people than just
you can have up to 10 people in New York at a party.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
So today, actually another thing is we have new equipment.
We do have new equipment. So we're still trying to tune it. I don't know how it sounds.
I'm hoping that we sound good because we can't hear hear ourselves in our headphones, which we can usually do, but I can't right now. So I'm hoping it's coming through okay. Yeah. But by next week we'll have it worked out. But we got these really cool professional Joe Rogan mics.
Yeah.
So we're hot shit now.
Right.
Today we're gonna talk about some email because we've always talked about it, and the more email you can send, the more money you can make, and it's just becoming more and more apparent the more we do it, and it's still the constant in this whole digital marketing space. And we've gotten some requests to talk about some email some more from our Facebook group, so we thought we'd touch on some email today.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I hear some prominent people talking about how email in the next couple of years is going to go away, and I just don't see how it's going to happen. I mean, everything you do, every account you create has an email attached to it. So I don't know that people are, I don't want to say never, but I mean, I rather get emails from companies that I sign up with than text messages. So
it's like a lighter approach that just, I can, it's under my control of when I actually look at it. When text messages come through, it's like,
you got to look at it.
Yeah. So before we get started, we should talk about the number one email growth marketing platform, SMS, CRM, all these great things that Klaviyo can do. And they're a huge part of this topic. So we have to talk about them, and they're the number one key player in this whole thing. And it's, I love it. I love Klaviyo. I love going in there, and it's like I see myself just going, every morning I'll come in and I'll just go to every single client account and just kind of review things. And the dashboard has everything I need to look at, the numbers, how everything's performing. And it's just like the best e-commerce email marketing platform you can find. And if you go over to klaviyo.com/uncensored, they have a free starter plan, I guess you could call it. Up to 250
You say that every
people.
single week we talk starter plan. It's a free account.
It's a free account.
Right. Up to 250 subscribers. You can use the platform. There is a cap on how many emails you can send. So if you have a big list, and there are some other little things, but you can literally use it for free up until 250 subscribers. So if you have a big list, I'd say go grab, 249 of them or even 250 of them, bring them over, start using the platform. As you see it start making money, you can start moving everybody over. But, we're getting a lot of people in our Facebook group talking about Klaviyo. A lot of people email me. And I've been, we also have a Facebook course that we've been doing. And a lot of people in that course have been saying the same thing about, how they love Klaviyo because it shows them everything. And that's what we like about it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, even calling it a starter plan is off. I do say that every time. You have all the features in there. You can hook it up to your store, integrate it with your store. You can even start there. Start bringing in abandoned carts from Shopify with their huge flow library that you have. That it's pre-built stuff. Yeah, it's really awesome. So that's Klaviyo.com. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored and sign up for that free account there.
Yeah.
And then fulfillment. What's the best place to get fulfillment center for?
Rakuten Super Logistics.
Yeah, they got 15 warehouses nationwide that allow you to get your packages to places all over the country faster, similar to what you see Amazon do.
Yeah, I mean, I think people, the layman, the people outside of our field, out of our niche, don't really understand how Amazon can do that. Like my wife, she would never know how Amazon gets her packages to her. It's just like, to her, it's like magic. But, to us, we know that it's that they just have warehouses in all the hot spots. They know people in New York, New Jersey, and they know the products that people are buying in these areas. And, how cool would it be to have your business, have that ability to get packages to your customers really quickly because they have a warehouse, in different parts of the country.
When this whole thing first started,
Right.
and when this whole thing first started, I think that we all noticed we had to get kind of used to not getting packages right away. It was kind of weird. We're so used to Amazon sending our packages like in 2 days. And when this whole COVID thing started, they started to slow down. So I'm sure there's a lot of e-commerce stores that saw some vulnerabilities in the fulfillment centers. And I think things are starting to come back around because I know there's packages coming to my house really quickly. So
Oh my God. I'm moving it. Yeah, I'm moving into a new house. So you can imagine the amount of boxes that are at my front door.
Yeah. So would they have a special promotion running that if you can gather all your costs and everything involved in your shipping and you give it to them, they guarantee that they will beat your shipping costs and everything involved with it, or they'll write you a check for $500. So you can go to ecommerceuncensored.com/RSL and use promo code uncensored to sign up for that. And that's a pretty awesome promotion. It's kind of risk-free thing going on. So check those guys out. Rakuten Super Logistics.
One more thing, Kevin, before we go.
Before we get started,
sorry. I want to talk about our Facebook course that I am kind of a little bit in limbo with right now. I reached out to everybody. I asked them to please be patient because I'm moving into a new house and this is like kind of crunch time for me. I'll be in next week and this will all be over. I'll have my own office, which I'm in right now.
Yeah, you're in your house, your new house right now.
I'm in my new house right now. My office furniture is coming. So if you go to ecommerceuncensored.com/truth, what you can do is you can join our beta group. And basically the beta group, you could join the list and then I'll send you an email to join the beta group. And you can join the course for a third of what we're going to be selling it. And you can help me kind of craft the course. You could tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see in it, what you'd like changed. And then once the course is all done, I'll give you the finished version of it, just like everybody else who's paying much more money. So again, go to ecommerceuncensored.com/truth.
Cool.
All right.
So email, Jason. So
email.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely something, Kevin, that, we talk a lot about on this podcast. And, as much as we love Facebook, Facebook has ebbs and flows because somebody from Facebook told me this a long time ago. It has ebbs and flows not because of how they work or whether they work or they don't work, right? But more from user usage. And we see that. Like, there are days where we do really well, and then there are days that are kind of dips, and then we do really well again. Whereas email, there hasn't been an email we send out that we've made zero.
Yeah, and it's something that we can always rely on. So and it's been happening lately, things like you said, will slow down and that's, cold audience revenue that might not be coming in like we'd like to see it on Facebook. And then we'll just be like, hey, let's just figure out something to send.
Right.
And I think that that could be an easy thing to say if you have a bunch of content to send out. But I think to maybe just simplify it a little bit can really help someone who's like struggling to find the content to send out to people. And just think about things that you've used in the past, things that you've sent to your list, 3 months ago or 4 months ago. I wouldn't be afraid to like regurgitate that or regurgitate now. Like,
Well, no, I mean, like one thing that like we've been doing a lot is, Klaviyo gives us all these metrics, right? And it's really easy to take the metrics for granted, right? Like, oh, they're there. Let's look at them. It looks really cool. But it's another thing to actually use the data. And what we've been doing a lot is going back to emails that have made a lot of money for us, maybe 6 months, maybe a year ago, and we've purposed them.
Yeah.
So not regurgitating, but repurposed them.
Mm-hmm. Repurpose, right?
And what we have found is that, number one, it takes the pressure off of coming up with new content. Number two, we know it's going to work, right? Because we've already sent it out. But the other thing is that, there's a really good chance that people from a year ago or from 6 months ago or even a month ago didn't see that email. Because everybody has their own level of engagement. Mm-hmm. But that aside, or in addition to that, though, I find myself like sometimes looking at an email from a company and then sometimes not. So that's why we're always like advocating about changing subject lines. Send the same email with just different subject lines, because I'll, ignore a subject line that's not something I'm directly affected by. But then when I am affected by the subject line, I'll open it. It could be the same email. I have no idea. But the idea is that we'd like to send as many emails as we can. We try to do one every single day. We even get to the point where we're not doing it on Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll all text each other, and Kevin will be like, "Oh, the sales suck. Let's send out an email." We send out an email, boom, we make $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, and you just kind of like surf. So I just kind of search through things that we've done in the past, and we have about one of our businesses. We have about 30,000. This business we talk about a lot. We have about 30 or 40,000 email addresses, and last Wednesday we sent out a really simple email. It was a video that we had. It was, and it just had a little bit of copy, and it just went to a page where we had the YouTube video embedded on the page. And it killed it. Like, it killed it. I mean, it had a huge open rate, but even a huge open rate, there's still, what is it? A huge open rate is like 30%, right? You still got 70% of your list that didn't open it. So with Klaviyo, I create segments of people who didn't open that email. And I think over the weekend I decided to send it, because it's like that whole at the right time thing, the right thing in front of the right person at the right time. And just because you sent it at 7 a.m. on Wednesday doesn't mean that customer is there or even in the mindset of buying something at that point. So I took a segment of people who didn't open it. I sent it again, and it didn't do as well, because you're starting to get a little bit of a less engaged audience of the people who first opened it, because they're pretty much the most engaged people are right on top of your email. Usually they open it every single time they get it. And I want to do it again today. Like, we don't have a scheduled email to go out today yet. And we're having a little bit of a slow day, as you know, Jason. So why not? I actually created another segment of people who didn't open the first one or the second one. And I'll just send that out again with just maybe a little bit of a different subject line.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me personally, timing is everything, right? And I feel like I'm learning that more and more that I'm in this game, that timing is everything, because there's no other way to explain how you send an email one day, okay, and you get 15 or 20 sales, let's just say. And then you take that same email and send it to people who didn't open, or you send it to people who didn't click, right? Because you could do that. And that same email the next day makes even more orders or sales, makes even more sales. There is no other way to explain that I don't even know what to call it. Phenomenon?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess.
there's no other way to explain that. It's the same email to the same group of people, just a different day, a different time. And and there's sales. So there's no other way to say that it's timing, because those same people maybe weren't ready to open it the day before. I mean, I would love to do a test, Kevin, and we haven't done this. I would love to do a test, like sending out the same email, different subject lines, like for 4 days in a row, and exclude people who have opened it, exclude people who have clicked it, obviously, but just see what happens. I get emails all the time from people because I know, like I'm right now I'm doing customer service. I actually have 38 emails, Kevin.
Oh, jeez.
But I get a feel for what people are saying, and a lot of times people use two different email addresses, and so like they'll see one, they won't see it the next day, or they see it. So yeah, timing is everything, and I really realizing that.
I think that like a lot of store owners too fall into the trap of like thinking that customers and the people on their email list care about them more than they actually do. And we fall into this trap too a lot. I mean, we get so complicated with the, excluding people and creating these really, well, me mostly, it's not as much you, it's mostly me, but creating these really complex segments to make sure that, oh my God, if I send an email out today and then I send it again tomorrow and the same person who opened it yesterday opens it today, they're going to think I did something wrong and they're going to unsubscribe or they're going to hate me or something.
How many times have you opened up an email, right? And gotten the same email and opened it again, and you didn't even read the first one, so you don't really know what was even in it.
Right.
But that it comes at a different time with a different subject line or something, and then you read it. I mean, the behavior is so erratic, that it's a good thing that it's erratic because it allows you to continually send more. And what we found is that, it's difficult, and this is not something we found. It's like to send an email every single day, but it's not difficult if you repurpose them or reuse them or take a Facebook. This is one other thing we do. Jared will post things on Facebook. Like I'll create ads with his images, and he'll send me a text. He's like, yeah, I just want to let you know that this image, I posted the image on Facebook and nobody liked it. So I can't see anybody liking it with the ads. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. And I'll change the ad, because, we're using the data, the feedback we're getting and trying to get better with it. And so, I mean, Kev, you've been sending a lot of emails out for the journal, and I know that the same emails do well over and over because you text and you say, I just sent this email, like, holy shit, look at all the money it's making. And we're like, I say to myself, I'm like, yeah, well, it did well before. So it just,
Well, just like you're seeing like the trends of the Facebook ads, I'm seeing these trends of email through the Klaviyo data and everything. And it's kind of like, it's eye opening a little bit when you can see it happening in front of your eyes. Like and noticing what kind of content your audience is responding to the most. Like yesterday we sent out an email about I can't remember what it was, and Jared wrote me a text. He's like, behind the lens. Yeah, and we had this conversation via text, Jason, and I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to send it to everybody. I don't care who got other emails today, because I'll do it. I'll just exclude people like crazy. I'm like, let's just send it to everybody. I don't care if they're on a list over here or over there. Let's just send it to everybody. Let's get it out there. Well, and it blew up.
It's funny because I get a lot of emails from people saying, why am I not getting all the emails? And I wrote somebody back this morning, actually, around 6:30. I said, yeah, you're not getting them because some of them are designed to bring in new subscribers. And if you're already a subscriber, you're not going to get the email.
Right.
But Jared is so good at what he does. And we have such an engaged audience that they pay attention to those things. They want everything. They don't give a shit if we're trying to sell something. They want everything.
Yeah. And recognizing that a big thing too is what I noticed is what brought them in to the email list to begin with. Like the topic that they were attracted to at the very beginning are topics that will drive them as email as well. Like that autofocus, we have the autofocus lead magnet that we had about this photography business we have. We sent out an email about autofocus again, and it just blew up. Like sales were crazy on that email. Right. So, recognizing that if you get somebody on your email list because they showed interest in shoes, then sending them an email about computers, there's no connection.
Well, even better. I mean, red shoes.
Right.
Like send them about red shoes. People like responding to red shoes. Send them more shit about red shoes. And that's that's just like one of those little idiosyncrasies that you don't think about. But the more and more you do this stuff, the more and more that you'll be able to pick those things out and be able to take advantage of them. Because, the main difference between Facebook and email, right? Facebook, you can sell things to people who don't know you. And people, the mindset is that if you can sell a product to people who don't know you, there's no real ceiling, right? It's not really 100% true because there are different levels, I guess, of people who are engaged as you start moving away from the really, really targeted people. But the downside is that it's not as predictable as email. Email's very predictable. Now, you're not going to know exactly how much you make, but you know that you can send an email and you're going to make money. Whereas Facebook ads, yesterday we can make $5,000 in a day on Facebook. And for whatever reason, the next day it's $2,000 or $8,000 and $1,000.
Because of what you said, it's like, it's not necessarily the offer changes or people are less interested. It's like the people rotate, the people who are online at the time or, happen to see it.
Facebook's user engagement changes throughout the day and changes throughout, not throughout the day, but also throughout the time of year. I mean, we're starting to go into the summer. People are just getting out. I mean, they're on their phones at different times. I mean, so it's affected by all that stuff. Now, that being said, Facebook is the main reason for us going from zero to, $100,000 a month. I mean, you can't do that with email if you don't have any emails.
Right. Yeah. It's how you get in the door. But
it's a 1-2 punch. You have both of them working simultaneously. And that's why I've gotten so many requests for the next course to be on email because they work in tandem.
Yeah. And we talked to Ezra Firestone a couple of weeks ago. And when he was talking about his business and he was talking about getting a 1.3 return on his ads, we're getting like the same 1.5, on a good day, we'll get a 2. It's not really that sustainable without email, No,
well, yeah. I mean, email definitely brings, and look, if we make, let's make it real simple. Let's say we do $3,000 on Facebook in a day, right? Mm-hmm. And you send out an email that does $3,000. I mean, it's you just doubled your revenue. So if you do that every single day over a year, do the math. It adds up. Whatever $6,000.
It's definitely not something that's going to be overnight. Like Facebook is definitely the driver of the whole thing, and it's what's building our list to where it's at right now. We obviously wouldn't be able to we could send the volume of emails every day, but not reach the amount of people every day.
No, I mean, our email list has grown exponentially because of Facebook. I mean, we started out, Jared, when we partnered up with him, had about 2,000 people in there. There's over 30,000 people in less than a year. So
yeah, and that's like the repurpose thing came up is like back in September when we first started this thing. We had about 2,000 person list, and he was sending out these really great content emails. So why not go back, start from the beginning, and just start repurposing those back to this list that we have now. That's like 40,000 people. So you have that. You just got to I guess it's a matter of getting creative a little bit. And I also I do like to play around with segments and just kind of find these little pockets of people that kind of look like they may be ready to buy. Or are you okay? You're making a weird face.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. God, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like playing around with that too in Klaviyo. I don't know if you knew that about me. I like to make things complicated and pull little segments. For another client of ours, I like to pull segments about just their buying behaviors and things.
Well, I mean, there does become a point though, Kevin, that you start running out of things to do, and you're trying to gin up something that maybe you find like a diamond in the rough kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just like how I like to play in there a little bit.
Yeah.
As I'm telling you guys to simplify things, I'm telling you about how I complicate them.
Well, that's just your MO. You complicate everything.
Yeah. Overthink it, maybe too much.
Overthink it, overcomplicate it, over micromanage it. I mean, it's just, you're the extreme.
Yeah, I do it all.
You do.
So yeah, I think that about covers everything that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
Jason,
I mean, repurpose your stuff. People from a month ago probably didn't see, there's probably most people didn't see your stuff. People are using spam emails more and more. So, their emails are building up in those spams, but that doesn't mean they don't check them.
And even if they did see it a month ago, it doesn't matter. Dude, if you send it to them again.
We repurpose topics on here all the time. And every time we do it, we get feedback from people that, oh, this was great. I'm like, yeah, we spoke about it like last year. Well, they weren't here last year.
Yeah, that's a good point. We do that a lot. Be like, we'll be talking about topics right before we got on, and we'll be like, well, did we talk about this before? And we're like, I don't know. I'm not really sure. And who cares?
Right. And if we don't know.
Yeah, right. But it's that mindset of like, yeah, stop taking yourself so seriously, not or think about people don't care about you that much. They really don't.
No.
So get off your high horse and stop thinking about it that way, because they don't. If they see it twice in a couple days, it's not a big deal. They're not going to hate you for it, but you might make some more money.
They think that you made a mistake or something, but who cares?
Yeah, even if they do. So. All right, cool. So before we go, then the key player of this whole thing really is Klaviyo. It's what enables us to kind of look at the data, and for me to play around with segments for several hours a day.
Which you do. And
pick and choose like the content we want to send out based on the data we're getting is Klaviyo. And you can go to klaviyo.com. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored to sign up for their free account over there, up to 250 subscribers. And then Rackets and Super Logistics to help you get your packages to more people faster, cheaper. They have a special promotion running right now where they'll have a look over all your shipping costs, all your fulfillment costs and everything involved. And they guarantee that their service will beat it, or they'll cut you a check for $500. Risk-free offer right there. So that's at ecommerceuncensored.com/RSL and use promo code uncensored. And Jason's Facebook course, which you definitely have to check out.
ecommerceuncensored.com/truth.
And you'll sign up for our email list, and we're going to be sending an email out in the next few days about the beta group. Have you sign up for that for a much less price. It's going to be really awesome. So that's about it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been episode 169. As always, you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later.